Well, hello everybody. The 49ers lost 12-6 to Los Angeles Rams, but something I didn't think I would be saying is that a player refused to play in the game, and that's Devondre Campbell. I thought the biggest story of the game was going to be Deebo Samuel and how he demanded to be more involved in the play calling and the game planning, and he was, and then he dropped the pass that could have been a huge play, probably leading to a touchdown if it wasn't a touchdown on its own. But that was not the biggest story. The biggest story is Devondre Campbell, linebacker, did not like being second fiddle to Dre Greenlaw, who was an established player on the team and decided he wasn't going to play. So Dre Greenlaw kind of hurt his knee. He felt a little tightness, wanted to make sure he was careful because he is coming back from his first game from an Achilles injury that he suffered in the Super Bowl. So he wanted to be careful. So he came out of the game. D. Winters had a neck injury. He was kind of banged up. Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles is kind of banged up. So they asked Devondre Campbell to go back in. He refused. I am in awe. I am flabbergasted. I cannot believe this has actually happened because the 49ers were completely clear with everybody that they talked to about being a linebacker for them this year that when Dre Greenlaw made his return, that it would be Dre Greenlaw. It's not like they hid the fact from Devondre Campbell that Dre Greenlaw would be back in the lineup once he got healthy. I mean, that was known by everybody in the organization, outside the organization, that Dre Greenlaw, when he was healthy, would be back on the field. Fred Warner's not coming off the field. Dre Greenlaw, his presence in that first half was completely known, and it was the best linebacking play that has happened since the beginning of the season. Devondre Campbell played 12 games, and Dre Greenlaw, I don't know, might have had as many tackles as Devondre Campbell did the entire season. I'm just kidding, he didn't. But I mean, his play, Dre Greenlaw brought the energy, brought guys together, made a huge difference. I don't know how Devondre Campbell didn't think that he wasn't going to be out. That like, how did he not know? So apparently he was upset, and when they needed him, he said, "Not going out there." So later in the game, he walked himself to the locker room and refused to play. I expect the 49ers to cut him tomorrow as soon as they can because that is not the type of player you need in your locker room, especially when you've got a season that is already just out of reach. I mean, I think players are still going to play. I don't think Kyle Shanahan has lost the locker room, but I never would have expected this. Um, the level of immaturity to mm, take yourself out of a game when you're being paid millions of dollars to do it and just the other guy's better than you. It is what it is. Just the immaturity level. And every other guy that I spoke to in the locker room was taking ownership of the mistakes they made. Deebo Samuel was like, that's on me. If I made that catch, the drop that where he ran off the field, I mean, that was right in his hands. If he made that, he's like, if I made that catch, we win the game. He took ownership. Isaac Guerrero, a rookie, said no. He's like, I didn't do enough. I wasn't the spark on the offense. It is my job to spark the offense, and I didn't do it. I didn't play well enough today. I mean, it was unreal how a rookie was more mature than Devondre Campbell. I'm shocked. Deebo Samuel was more mature. Everybody that was at the podium was more mature, taking ownership. I mean, the fact that Isaac Guerrero put it on his own shoulders that the 49ers did not win the game shows a ton of self-respect and humility and responsibility and maturity. And for Devondre Campbell to just walk off the field like that, I don't have words. I can't believe this. I can't believe it. I mean, there have been other players that have just taken themselves out of the game, obviously, and then they never returned. I don't know that Devondre Campbell has any more of a future in the NFL after doing this because, I mean, this is a guy who quit on his team. It's a team sport. George Kittle had some harsh words. Uh, Charvarius Ward, I posted that on my social media. Um, he said it was a sucker thing to do, immature. I think George Kittle called it dumb. I mean, these are guys that put themselves on the line to play the game. And for a quote unquote teammate to quit on them is insulting. I there's no way that he ever is back in that 49ers locker room because while it's a challenging season, I mean, Dre Greenlaw went out there and just 8 tackles in the first half. Uh, I mean, Debo Samuel had his chances, but he owned up to it in the locker room. So I'll give him that. I mean, Debo Samuel has been, you know, in the social media talking about how he's not struggling. He just isn't getting the ball. He wanted to be more involved. It didn't work out. And he owned up to it. It was the mature thing to do. But walking out the field and leaving your teammates out there, that is not. So, um, 49ers playoffs hopes are pretty much gone. It was a challenging season that, you know, was marred by incredible in amounts of injuries and an incredible amount of off-season tragedy. Ricky Pearsall was shot. Trent Williams and Traverse Ward lost children, and they were on the field, and Devondre Campbell was not. Guys coming back from an Achilles injury. Christian McCaffrey, who, came back from bilateral Achilles tendonitis. I mean, all these guys making the sacrifices to be out there, and a guy decides just to quit. It's shocking to me. Um, yeah, none of us can just, I mean, I guess you can just go to your job and quit, but I don't know. It's beyond me that you would do it. So, anyways, um, that's all I have for you tonight. It is late. It's almost midnight. I got an early flight tomorrow. I'm going to cousin's graduation. So I will talk to you more tomorrow. And good night, everybody. Still in shock. Wow.